Well, if you've been drawn to the video by the thumbnail, my statement, the most famous lens you've probably never heard of, is very, very bold. It's a big thing to claim, isn't it, really? But I do think it's justified. Recently I managed to get my hands on this particular lens, but 1953 saw the birth of the very first 28mm wide-angle lens for 35mm cameras. And that was designed and engineered by Pierre Ingenieux. I'll put a photo of it on screen for you. Now, I've not been fortunate enough to get hold of one of those, but I got the next best thing. 2 years later, 1955, this lens came onto the market. The second ever 28mm wide-angle lens designed specifically for 35mm cameras. So I've been using it for a few days, and I've come out to Sefton Park on a glorious Monday morning. Even though the dew on the ground is very, very wet. And I didn't realise, but my feet are starting to get damp. So I've come out this morning to Sefton Park with the Ultra Lithagon. It's only f3.5, so not fast, but hey, what do you expect? 1955, pretty early technology. And I've also come out with, to compare it to, or compare it with, whichever's the correct phrase, I've come out with a Tokina 28mm 2.8 from at least 20-25 years later. It must be a 1970s/80s lens. And we're going to compare things like sharpness and colour transmission, that kind of thing. And I'm working my way down to an area called the Fairy Glen. There's an awful lot of fairy glens in the world. Ours is not the most spectacular, but anyway, let's get down there and see what we can photograph. I want to get as close as I can to the actual bridge, because the stream, or the river, technically, well, I say technically it's a river. We know it as the River Jericho. It's very, very low, and the stream here is really very silted up, as you can probably see there. So the bridge, I think, offers me the best photographic potential. You never quite know until you get there. The undergrowth is quite a lot bigger and stronger than I was expecting for this time of year. And it looks as though the bridge itself is going to be completely obstructed from view. So I'm going to have to rethink this, cross the stream and approach it from the more normal footpath. Well, perhaps I should have come here in the first place. This is the normal footpath approach to Fairy Glen. Now the issue I have is that with a 28mm, there's going to be an awful lot of greenery and not much bridge. Anyway, I'll just show you where I'm heading. And there we are. Bridge over the Fairy Glen with the River Jericho flowing underneath it. So I'm going to set up and do some comparative shots now. So, first few shots are with the 28mm Ultra Lithagon. I'll go through all the specs and the details, the boring bits with you in a little while. But let's get some photos taken. Manual exposure, manual focus. ISO is on 100. I've got a little bit of shade from the pine tree overhead, which is good. This lens is only single coated, so it probably, I say probably, would not handle flare very well at all. So let's see what we've got here. It's a preset lens. A 100th of a second at f3.5 with ISO 100. So I'm just going to shoot that now. Let me check focus. I think I'm going to focus before the bridge. That's not bad. Okay. Now that was at 3.5. I'm going to stop it down to 5.6, which is going to involve dropping down to a 60th. I'm not expecting this to be sort of razor sharp edge to edge. So I'm now going to do a couple of shots with the Tokina. The Ultra Lithagon, by the way, is in exact amount. The rather lovely Tokina is Minolta MD, so I've got two separate lens adapters with me today. So 2.8, gosh, that makes a difference. Check my focus, try and focus on more or less the same part of the image. And so that's at 2.8. Let's do one at f5.6. Oops. See? Idiots like me get it wrong sometimes. Didn't compensate and change shutter speed. Oh. Hopefully they will give a comparison, both in terms of edge-to-edge sharpness and probably more noticeably colour transmission. I have already been out and compared this, compared the Lithagon to my 50mm f2 Pancola lens, and the difference in colour transmission is very, very noticeable. The colour, at least from the first comparison I did to the Pancola, the colours out of the Ultra Lithagon are a lot more muted. They don't sort of hit you in the face, which can be a good thing, of course. Right, let's see what else we can find to photograph. This should be somewhat better. Just a little further on from my previous standpoint. There's a path leading down to this side of the bridge. A couple of years ago I managed to get over to the other side, but that's pretty much blocked off now by the undergrowth. So I think this has got more potential down here, for me anyway. So as I have still got the Tokina 28mm on, we're going to use this to start off with. Right, let's just open it up for focusing purposes. Now this time I think I'm going to focus very close to me, not on this stanchion here, but on the ground a little bit beyond it, like so. I want to close it down to f8. Goodness knows what speed that is going to give me. Oh, this is pushing it. This is going to be a 30th at f8. So that was the Tokina. It's great being under here. Nobody else comes down here. Well, apart from the youngsters and their graffiti art. Right, now this is going to be more challenging for this lens. 3.5 ISO 100. Let's just open it up. Okay, and I'm going to focus on the stream again. It has a very narrow focusing ring, which is a little bit hard to find when you've got the camera up to your eye. I'm shooting this at a 60th 3.5, so we'll check those out. Now, what else can I see to photograph down here? I think we'll try the graffiti behind the camera, actually. Just let me spin it around and then you've got a better idea of what it's like. There we are. Quite close in. Lithagon again. Oh dear, I think I'm going to have to boost the ISO here. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, 100%. Let's take it up to ISO 400. Okay, that's pretty good, and that's giving me, what speed am I on? Right, I'm going to shoot this 60th at 3.5. Angled it up rather a lot because I want to keep the girders in so that you are aware of the fact I'm under the bridge. Where are you, Tokina? I've lost you. Here we are. Okay, 2.8, ISO 400. What speed's it going to give me? I can shoot this quite happily at 100th of a second. Will it be worth it? I don't know. They're not going to be anything to shout about compositionally, these shots, but the idea is to give you and me an idea of exactly how the two lenses compare. 20 or 30 years difference in manufacture should make quite a difference. Now, just to be naughty, I'm going to take a shot from here with the Tokina looking across. I'm going to focus on the stanchions quite close to me. Make sure I don't get the Osmo Pocket 3 in the shot. And because you will all shout at me if I don't, I'd better swap it and do one with the Ultra Lithagon. Gotta be fair. The proof, as they say, will be in the pudding. Anyway, I'm going to find a nice little quiet spot and talk to you a bit more about the lens itself now. Well, with, at least I hope I've framed it up okay, but hopefully with the Sefton Park Palm House behind me, I thought I'd give you a little bit of a rundown on the more boring technical information about the Ultra Lithagon. As I said, the Ingenu R11 came out in '53, the Ultra Lithagon in '55. previously to the Ultra Lithagon, they produced the Lithagon, which was a 35mm wide-angle lens. So when the designers managed to crack the optical design for a 28mm, logically an Ultra Lithagon was the best way to name it, I guess. It has a 10-bladed iris. The barrel is aluminium, or if you're in the States, aluminum, with a brass lens mount. So it's pretty lightweight, to be honest with you. If I put some close-up shots of the lens, you will see just exactly how marked up it is, but it looks 10 times worse when you see it really close than it does in reality. It's a smashing little lens. Now, the interesting thing about the Lithagon, just take it off the adapter so you get a better idea of the size of it. They only produced 1,600 in total in 3 or 4 different mounts. This is the Model 1, the first variant of the lens. I think the later ones were sort of styled in the zebra pattern, rather like the pattern on the adapter here. And interestingly, they only made 500 in the Exacta mount, which is the one I've got here. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted this lens. Now it weighs 112 grams or 4 ounces, and it focuses down to 12 inches from the film plane or sensor, depending on how you're using it. So really pretty sort of functional little wide-angle lens, to be honest with you. It is highly regarded. I couldn't find anything on YouTube about this. There are a couple of videos about the Lithagon, the 35mm equivalent, but nothing about the 28mm Ultra Lithagon. So I hope this is useful to people, but it does have a good reputation for being pretty sharp. As I say, single coated, probably won't handle flare very well, if at all well. So I'm going to continue using this for a few days now and take some more shots around and about in town and whatever, to give you more of an idea of what I think of the lens and what sort of results I think I can get from it. I probably paid a bit too much for it, but honestly, you don't see them very often. So I think my choice of thumbnail is justified. It's not just clickbait this time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll put some more images up for you now, but enjoy your photography, whether you're using brand spanking new digital ultra sharp lenses or 70-year-old vintage stuff. Enjoy it, and I will see you next week. Bye bye for now.